Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, and we are looking at teas, and I'm really talking about the fuller meaning of the word taste, or the concept of taste. It's more than just what happens on your tongue. It's what's happened. It's about texture. It's about aftertaste. It's not just limited to those initial flavors. And so one of the teas that we're going to be looking at today is an oolong that I hope can bring a lot of those aspects to play. This is a company, and I'm going to talk about it in just a minute, but this is a company that does a very good job, generally, of sourcing good teas and bringing them to market. So this is a company that I generally enjoy tasting teas from. So we're going to go ahead and get out this Taiwanese oolong, get it into our gaiwan here, and get it ready to go to taste. So I'm scooping out enough to really cover the bottom of my 4-ounce gaiwan. And that covers like the diameter, about 1.5 inch diameter, so that you don't see the bottom of the gaiwan. And I'm actually seeing just a little bit, so I'm going to sprinkle just a few more rolled leaves on there. Let me put this back in the tin for just a moment as I get this water onto it here. Now my water's been brought to a boil, but it's been cooling for about a minute and a half or so. But it still should be quite warm enough for this. So it looks good. I'm going to add just a wee bit more water, just a splash more, because I want enough water to really rise up above the lid when I put it on. That creates a bit of a seal. It's going to lock in some of those aromas, and it's going to allow the liquor, the tea, the water itself, to keep its color, so that the air doesn't get in and change its color, make it duller, flatter looking. So while that's happening, let's talk a little bit about this tea and introduce it. This is from Naivetea. This is that company I was telling you about that if you look back at some of Naivetea's scores, they're generally high. They do, like I said, they do a good job of bringing out some good quality teas, some enjoyable teas. I've actually included one of Naivetea's teas in my reserve tea package, so that's something that you may want to check out if you want to explore a good Taiwanese oolong, along with some other, like a great example of a Chinese green, and some pu'er as well. But this one, Naivetea, this is the ShanLinShi or ShanLinShi, depending on how you want to pronounce it, or where you're from, or where you've learned to pronounce. But this is, you can find a 2-ounce tin like this for $26. A little bit of information on Naivetea's site. It tells us that this is the Qingxin varietal. That was the type of tea leaf used for this. It is from the ShanLinShi area. You can find out information about or where that is on the tea map, and I'll try to give you a link for that again. But ShanLinShi, or this is grown and harvested at an elevation, one of the higher elevations of 1,900 meters, or about a little over 6,200 feet. Okay. So, and as we talk about this tea, we're going to be talking about some of the key aspects of it: the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. First thing we want to do is talk a little bit about the dry leaf here. You're getting a little bit of a toasted type note. These do have some. There's a roasting aspect going on here, but you're also getting a floral. So and combining them, you're getting something like kind of like a graham cracker or vanilla wafer type toasted baked type element, combined with a hyacinth, something kind of floral and sweet there. Looking at these leaves, they are not as I should say brown, toasted looking, roasted looking as some others. This one's a little bit. This one has some firing to it. You can get an indication of that. Yet it's still got some kind of a deeper, richer green-blue type colors going on. Moving over a little bit towards some of the lighter brown, greener, and green yellows from the stems that are there as well. You see that these are clumped together, so you've got, in most cases, more than one leaf rolled together into a ball. That's kind of a traditional style associated with dongdings and several other Taiwanese oolongs. nice, vibrant, kind of a little bit of a light gloss looking look about this leaf. It's certainly not dull or flat by any means. So it's got a nice color. It's got good indicators on it so far. And let's get ready then to pour this. Pouring with the Gaiwan requires a little bit of, can require a little bit of practice. I often you'll see me using a pitcher like this because it allows us to look at the liquor. And if you're serving more than one person, a pitcher like this is very useful. So I'm going to take my thumb and index finger on the edge here. I'm going to get my my middle finger rather on the edge, and my index finger is actually going to hold down the lid. Nice rich color there. I gave this one quite a bit of steep time. Many people will prefer a lighter or shorter, briefer steep, and that's fine as well. But while I have this in front of me, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our wet leaf. Okay, I got a hint of the, well, first off, I got some of the things that hit me were graham cracker, and then as I lifted up the lid and smelled the inside of the lid, I got a little bit of a lima bean type note coming off there. The floral aspect, I mean, there is something sweet, but it's more like a green vegetable. It's more like a sweet pea type of smell instead of a extravagant or excessively flowery type smell. So those are the dominant, I would say the dominant two characteristics, a little bit of that graham cracker, a little bit of the heat toasted aspect, combined with a little bit of a sweet pea and or a fresh lima bean type smell. Looking at these leaves, you can see that they are full size. And actually, as I'm picking up this one here, it is fairly tender, very soft, very supple as well. I'm looking for sets so that you can kind of see, like the set here, you actually had a little bit there. 3 leaves, potentially 4, and perhaps a little bit of, not really much of a bud there. You're not getting something to note. You can see with some teas more visibly than others, but the tip here, the way it was, something to note. I wanted to say one thing, but now that I look at it, I kind of take that back. You can kind of look at these leaves, at these and other Taiwanese oolongs. Look at the way that it's broken off. Is it a clean cut? Is it a clean break like it's been cut? Or is it kind of jagged like it's been torn off? Generally, you prefer the more ragged, torn look because another aspect is that the amount of red, oxidation, aging, I guess oxidation is the best word to talk about the redness that shows up there on the edge of the stem. That can give you an indication of how it was broken off as well. I'm looking for indicators of whole leaves here. Actually, most of our leaves are not 100% intact. This one looks like it's mostly, but not completely. Okay. Again, some jagged edges, ragged edges there on these leaves there. Actually, another very smooth cut there. Okay, but all right. So let's move on. We've got a nice, rich, deep green, greenish blue even. A little bit of oxidation, a little bit of reddishness on the edges of leaves here. So that's something to note as well. But very light. Most of them are. You will not see very much, if any, of that oxidation taking place on the edge of that leaf. But let's move on. Talk a little bit about our liquor here. The smells are starting to, actually as it's cooling, it seems to be picking up in aroma some. Okay. Aromas are getting a little bit more towards that roasted, like I said, vanilla wafer, and a light floral, very delicate. So at this point it was so light that I really couldn't put a specific name to it. But as you look at this liquor, I'm seeing a lot of particulates floating around, particulates coming out from the leaf. I see a good clarity, a good brightness there as well. I see a rich golden color, so those are good notes there. Looking down through, yes, it's got a nice clarity there. So let's go ahead and put it in the cup here. See what we notice. We look at that. Yes, good color, consistent, nice and smooth looking. Now, one of the things I noticed as this was tasting, I didn't get a coating at first. I swirled around, and then suddenly the coating really started to kind of stick and materialize on the back of my tongue. It's like the viscosity stayed more towards the back there. Other things I'm noting, low astringency, so that's nice. Not a lot of really, I steeped this quite a while, but there's still not bitterness per se to it. I really couldn't call this tea bitter at all. Taste of this tea, you're still getting, again, a buttery type texture to it, so that adds something there. As far as flavors go, I get this one is more of a green type flavors, and then that I'm talking about things like like a more of like a sweet pea type, a snow pea. There's those aspects going on here. Okay, I'm giving one more shot here, especially as I do want to let this kind of cool off and see what flavors or aromas stand out as it cools. Before I get into that though, I should talk a little bit about the aftertaste. Because the aftertaste is sustained, it's full, it really builds up in the back of the mouth, creeps up to the middle even. Ooh, and then there's a slight sense of sweetness there on the tip of the tongue as well. So those are all positive notes. And the aftertaste is consistent with, so it's a little bit kind of a salty, rich, savory with that thicker texture that I was talking about. So yeah, again, if it's a floral, it's quite light, it's quite subdued. It's not a very strong hyacinth, it's weak and it's towards the back, combined with more of a like a water chestnut. There's something kind of slightly starchy going on in there. There's something that is a little bit, again, the snow pea, the sweet pea. Those are the blends that are going on here. So when I look at this tea as a whole, the flavors are gentle, and that's a characteristic of this particular kind of tea. So that's nothing that for or against. That's what it is. Combined with a rich, very nice, heavy texture going on, as I mentioned, an aftertaste that's sustained, that's full. It's just heavy in your mouth. It just feels like you still got a mouthful of tea there, ready to swallow. So, given the texture that's going on here, the aftertaste with that, with those mild and very gentle tastes and aromas that are present, I would have to give this tea a 91. It's just got full character to it, and that's what I would recommend. That's why I would recommend it to you to explore for yourself, to find that full, like I said, that full range of taste experience, and come back and share that with us here at Walker Tea Review.